In today's episode, we're going to be talking about waxes and the differences between the hard waxes in our range. Our range of waxes consists of 8 different variations. Now this may seem a little daunting to start with when you're trying to select the right wax for your car, but I've broke it down into some groups here. Hopefully with a little explanation you'll understand more about each one and what type of vehicle they're suited to. Our first 3 here are our original 3 waxes from the range. You've got Soul, specifically for light and white cars. Passion, which was developed for vintage high solid paint types. Spirit, this was developed to bring out pearlescent and metallic finishes in paintwork. You've got our 2 all-rounders, so these are good for people who have got cars of a couple of multiple different colours or different finishes, or if you do a few mates cars and things like that, Temptation or Essence will suit you perfectly. And then you've got our specific waxes like Illusion, Show Wax, our Fusion, which is a little bit of a hybrid twist on a carnauba wax, also mixed with a synthetic sealant. And then Desire. This is our flagship wax, containing the highest wax content out of all of these. So to run you through the real differences, if you've got a white car or light coloured, you're going to opt for Soul. If you come to me and you say, I've got a show car and you're not really bothered about durability, it's going to be something like Illusion. If durability is something that you're worried about, it would be Fusion or Desire. And then if you just want a good all-round wax, your choice is Temptation or Essence. So hopefully that makes the whole choosing the right wax for your car a little simpler. Now we're going to get onto the application, show you a few tips and tricks around how to apply wax, and also most importantly, when's right to be removing wax. Application of a wax is simple, but there's some steps that you must carry out prior to putting a wax on your car. You need to ensure your paintwork is A, clean, B, well decontaminated, and C, polished and prepared correctly. Contrary to popular belief, waxes, whilst they add a little to the finish, they're not what makes your paintwork shine. That's all done in the polishing and glazing stages. Waxes are simply there to protect the finish you've created. They will add a little something extra to well-prepared paintwork, but if your paint's scratched, faded out and looking a mess, just applying a coat of wax isn't the answer, and it won't get you the results you want. So with that in mind, make sure the steps prior to waxing are carried out carefully, fully and correctly. Taking your applicator, a quarter turn in the pot is all that's needed. Take it to the paintwork, but don't start over in an edge or something like this. You need to think of it like butter in your toast. You want to spread it out on the panel. Keeping it as thin as possible is the key. Over applying waxes won't give you more protection or a better shine, it just means there's more work for you to take off later. So putting the applicator down, no real pressure here, just enough to keep it on the panel. Start applying in circular motions. Now we've covered circles and straight lines before. I'm confident this paintwork is well prepared, dust free and no contaminants, so I'm happy to work in circles. If you work in straight lines, you would leave any dust or any other contaminants at the end of the stroke before bringing it back. Whereas in circles, if there's anything there, it is possible that you could pick that up and drag it around. But like I say, I'm confident that there isn't anything here. On this particular demo, we're using our flagship wax Desire. Like I said earlier on, we usually use Illusion on our show cars because we're not too bothered about durability on these. These are waxed every time they get to an event. But Desire has the biggest sweet spot of any of our wax range. So I want to show you when it's the perfect time to take a wax off of your car. Don't be afraid to go over an area you've already done, spreading it back out further. You need to get it on there even, but thinly. Work details like grills and around wiper arms and other intricate areas separately after you've done the bulk of the work. So with the wax now applied just to the bonnet, I would usually be working on about 2, maybe 3 panels at a time, depending on the weather conditions. With wax in your car, you will find the sweet spot that works for you, works for your paint type and works for the sort of conditions you're working in. There's a good tip here to use something known as the finger swipe test. Take your finger, swipe it through the wax. If it's still greasy like this and doesn't sort of half remove it, it's not quite ready to come off. Don't panic and try and buff all the wax off straight away. This will feel sticky, and it's often when people struggle with waxes because they haven't left them to cure properly. If you do leave a wax to over cure and it becomes sort of a whiter haze on the paint, again, you don't need to panic. Using a little spritzer quick detailer like our Finale and your microfiber cloth, you'll clean it up easily, and it won't affect the wax's durability or finish either. With the wax now ready to come off of the paintwork, using a fresh microfiber cloth, you're going to use 2 sides of this. One to remove the bulk, the second to flip over and give it its final buff up. Always use a light source to look down the panel to check for any areas that you might have missed, brushed over or not fully removed as well. When you go through gills, grills and other intricate areas, it's worth really working these in to make sure you don't leave wax down in the gaps. This will dry white and it doesn't look very good later on. Especially on something like a bonnet, the heat from the engine once this car's running will soon cure that off to looking a horrible white mess. So make sure you remove it all now. So there you have it, a waxed car. It really is that simple to apply a wax to your vehicle. It's all about timing, making sure you spread your wax layer thinly and evenly, and most importantly, the prep prior to putting the wax on your car. If you follow those steps, you'll have a shining vehicle that will be easy to clean, look good for longer, and stand out from the crowd.